In major tournaments like the World Cup, sometimes the final score is so fair that there's no need to look for excuses or hidden reasons. That's exactly what happened in the round of 32 clash between Spain and Austria. Spain delivered one of their best performances of the tournament, controlled the match from start to finish, and secured a deserved 3-0 victory that confirmed they're among the strongest contenders for the title. Before kickoff, Austria had earned plenty of respect. They had reached the knockout stage after an impressive group stage campaign, and everyone knew Ralf Rangnick's side was known for its organization and discipline. But from the very first minutes, it was clear Spain had entered the match with a completely different mindset. They dominated possession, pressed high up the pitch, and attacked relentlessly down the wings through Lamine Yamal and Marc Cucurella. Within the opening 15 minutes, the pattern of the game became obvious. Spain controlled the ball almost completely, while Austria was forced deep into its own half, defending with numbers. Every time the ball reached Yamal or Nico Williams, the Austrian defense looked uncomfortable. Spain made it clear they wanted to finish the job as early as possible. As the match went on, Austria struggled to keep possession. Spain dictated every aspect of the game. They finished with 65% possession and completed 611 passes at an outstanding 91% accuracy compared to just 329 passes for Austria. The numbers perfectly reflected how the match was being played entirely on Spain's terms. The first half hour was one wave of Spanish pressure after another. Austria tried to hold on, and goalkeeper Alexander Schläger made several important saves, but it was becoming obvious that Spain's opening goal was only a matter of time. Every passing minute increased the pressure on the Austrian side. That breakthrough finally arrived in the 36th minute. Marc Cucurella burst down the left flank and delivered an excellent cross into the box, where Mikel Oyarzabal was perfectly positioned to guide the ball into the net and give Spain a deserved 1-0 lead. The goal broke Austria's resistance. Spain nearly doubled the advantage before halftime, but the first half ended with the Spaniards leading by a single goal. Even though the score was only 1-0, the feeling was that the gap between the two teams on the pitch was much greater. Despite holding only a one-goal lead, Spain looked capable of scoring several more. They completely controlled possession, while Austria spent most of the match chasing the ball. It was exactly the kind of game that drains an opponent both physically and mentally. At the start of the second half, Austria tried to push higher up the field, knowing that a one-goal deficit could still be overturned. The problem was that every time they committed players forward, they left spaces behind, and those spaces were exactly what Spain's attackers had been waiting for. Meanwhile, Spain looked completely comfortable. They played with confidence, moved the ball quickly, and every player knew exactly what his role was. That forced Austria to waste enormous amounts of energy simply trying to chase the ball. In the 66th minute came the second blow. Another well-worked team move ended with Pedro Porro scoring his first international goal for Spain, doubling the lead to 2-0. The second goal wasn't just another goal on the scoreboard, it was the moment that truly killed the contest. Austria lost much of its confidence, while Spain began playing with even greater freedom. More space opened up, and La Roja started enjoying long spells of possession and quick passing. From that moment on, Spain's place in the round of 16 looked all but certain. Austria tried to respond, but they failed to register a single shot on target throughout the entire match. One of the clearest statistics showing just how ineffective they were going forward. The numbers highlighted just how one-sided the game really was. Spain finished with 22 shots compared to Austria's 5, including 10 shots on target to none. They also earned 9 corner kicks, while Austria failed to win a single one. Those are statistics rarely seen in a knockout match between two teams that had reached this stage. As the match entered its closing minutes, the Spanish fans were already celebrating qualification, but there was still time for one final statement. In the 89th minute, Mikel Oyarzabal struck again. The Spanish forward finished off another excellent team move to score his second goal of the match and Spain's third, putting the result beyond any doubt. What made Oyarzabal's second goal even more satisfying was that it rewarded one of the best performers on the pitch. He was constantly involved throughout the match, made intelligent runs between the defenders, and took his chances with remarkable efficiency. Finishing the game with 2 goals, he was the undisputed man of the match. If there was one player who truly stood out, it was Mikel Oyarzabal. The Spanish striker scored twice at crucial moments, turning his team's dominance into decisive goals. By the final whistle, his name echoed around the stadium as the man who had led Spain into the next round. Marc Cucurella was outstanding as well. He provided the assist for Spain's opening goal and remained a constant threat down the left flank throughout the match. Every time he surged forward, he created new problems for Austria's defense. Lamine Yamal also had an excellent game. Although he didn't get on the score sheet, he was one of Spain's main creative outlets, using his pace, skill, and intelligent movement to open up spaces for his teammates. The final statistics perfectly illustrate Spain's dominance. They finished with 22 shots compared to Austria's 5, including 10 shots on target, while Austria failed to register a single one. Spain also earned 9 corner kicks to Austria's none, completed 611 passes compared to Austria's 329, and enjoyed 65% possession. Those numbers prove that the 3-0 scoreline wasn't flattering. It simply reflected what happened over the full 90 minutes. Another impressive aspect of Spain's performance was how composed they remained. They controlled every phase of the game without becoming reckless or frustrated. Spain committed only 8 fouls compared to Austria's 15 and finished the match without receiving a single yellow card, highlighting just how comfortable they were from start to finish. Austria fought as hard as they could, but the difference in quality was impossible to ignore. They spent most of the match chasing the ball and struggled to create any real scoring opportunities, making life extremely difficult against a side of Spain's caliber. Several Spanish players stood out. Marc Cucurella, who recently completed his move to Real Madrid, was exceptional throughout the match. Lamine Yamal delivered another world-class individual performance, showing incredible pace, outstanding dribbling, and even producing a few brilliant nutmegs that thrilled the crowd. And of course, Mikel Oyarzabal stole the spotlight with 2 well-taken goals that sealed Spain's victory. In the end, people will remember that Spain won 3-0 and comfortably advanced to the round of 16. But anyone who watched the game knows the scoreline was simply a reflection of Spain's complete dominance. They controlled possession, created chance after chance, defended brilliantly, and never looked in danger. It was the performance of a team that knows exactly what it wants from this tournament. More importantly, Spain now has a blockbuster round of 16 showdown with Portugal. It promises to be one of the biggest matches of the tournament, and after Spain's commanding display against Austria, the Portuguese will know they are facing one of the competition's strongest teams. Spain sent a clear message with this performance. They didn't come to the World Cup just to win a round or two. They came believing they can go all the way. If they continue playing with the same confidence, control, and clinical finishing, their clash with Portugal could become one of the tournament's greatest matches and perhaps the true beginning of their journey toward lifting the World Cup trophy.